Hello, this is Corey Ellow with Ellow Photography. I'm gonna go through here and show you the steps I go about to edit some of these images. But first, I have to pick one out. I hadn't really went through and pick anything out just yet, so just bear with me. This is the one I'm gonna use. Okay, so from start, I am going to tinker with my exposure. Of course, we don't want it too dark. I'm going to brighten it up a little bit. Go on my contrast. This is going to be, of course, going to be too low. So I want to bump it up a notch. And let me see. Of course, this is too high. So we're going to take it down a notch. I want to take it down about right here. I like the smoky look. Take it about right there. All right. And as far as highlights go, the highlights, if you notice what it's doing to the background mainly, it's this blue building back here. This blue building. This is not going to be in the image once the final editing is done. That's not going to be in there. But I don't like it that dark. I am going to bump it up just a notch. Right here is fine. Alright, now let's mess with shadows. Too bright, too dark, too bright. Let's bump it down to about right here. Let's see, whites. I don't like too much white in it because it starts to make the image look artificial. Too much of anything is going to make the image look artificial. I like to keep a little bit of realness in the images that I do. I'm gonna bump that down just a tad bit right there. Clarity, almost every image, I bump up the clarity a bit. I'm gonna take the clarity all the way down and show what it does. I'm gonna bump it all the way up and show you what it does. It adds a lot more detail to the image. Normally I add almost 100% clarity on landscape photos when there's not a subject in it because it gives it that high definition look. When I have a subject in it though, that's not what I want to do. I do want to give her some detail, but not that much. But if you can tell the difference, some people ask, how do I get so much detail on my images? This is how. I just bump the clarity up just a tad bit. Now I'm going to go to vibrance. Vibrance is going to add a little bit more saturation in the color. It's kind of similar to saturation, but not quite saturation. And it's hard to really explain what it is. I would suggest you go to YouTube and probably type in the difference between vibrance and saturation. I'm pretty sure some genius is going to be able to break that down for you, which is which. Normally, I like to bump down saturation a bit when it comes to stuff. Too much, I hate too much saturation. It turns my people from black to orange, and I can't stand orange skin in photography. I see that a lot. I don't like it. Alright, so I'm going to bump my vibrance down, see what that looks like, bump it up, see what it looks like. I always like to bump it down and bump it up and see the difference, and then make my decision from there what I'm going to do. I'm going to bump the saturation down a bit to about right here. I like how that looks. Alright, now we're going to go to highlights. No highlights, too much highlight. So where we're going to go, let's check it out. I don't want too much highlight. As a matter of fact, I want to take some of that out. Let's see here. I think highlights was probably good where it was. You don't have to change everything because some of the stuff is fine just the way it is. But me, I like to tinker with it all and see how it comes out. I'm going to bump light up just a little bit, but not much. See darks. You can see where it does the darks in the background and the hair. I like it at here. Shadows. Don't like no shadow. Don't like too much. Blows the picture out. So we're going to add a little bit more shadow by taking it down a little bit. We're going to take it back down a little 19. All right, green. What I want to do is I want to bring out the green in the background, the trees. I want to bring that out. Not too much, but I do want to bring that out. I want to make it noticeable. At that point, I'm going to go to luminance. This here is going to make it definitely green. This one here is going to make it like a different color green, just a more brighter green. It's up to your choice. I don't like this. I want to bump it up just a tad bit, just like that. I just want to bring the green out, and I think that's going to make a nice image. Highlights. Already nobody really use this because they really don't know what it means, what it's for. Me, it does add some a difference to your photo. I love using it. I use it all the time. I normally go on default with the blue highlight and a tan shadow. I can control the saturation of it. If I feel like I have too much blue, I take it down, but that's going to be too warm, so I'm going to add a little bit more blue in there. And let's turn this split toning off and back on and see the difference in the image. That's off. That's on. I like how that's coming out. Let's see what it is with the balance here. Set that balance a little bit to the right, off, on. Okay, I like how that's coming out. Okay, every image, again, just like clarity, every image we want to sharpen. We don't want to do it too much because you're going to see, if you look in this box here, you can definitely see what it does to your image. If you sharpen too much, you're going to see all of that noise. And you don't want noise in your image, so I'm going to take that down. Okay, but I am going to sharpen it. You're going to see a little bit of noise in there, but this is where it gets tricky. I'm going to go down to the detail and add more detail. The detail is going to add more sharpness to it. It's going to show more detail. At that point, I'm going to go to the radius, bump that up a little bit. Let's see what it does. You see the difference in that nose? I'm going to bump it up to right here, and I'm going to leave it at that. Masking, it's pretty much going to mask her and smoothen out any noise that you may see, but yet it'll keep its sharpness. Now, normally with luminance, if you take a picture at a very high ISO and you see a lot of noise in that image, luminance normally helps to get rid of that. If you can see what it does to the nose, it also does that to the image. And in the image, you can see that effect a lot in her skin. And this here, and if anybody knows my photography, they know I'm not a big fan of skin smoothing. I really don't think it's necessary. And I think a lot of skin smoothing takes away from the true beauty of the model, takes away from the realness, and the models turn out looking artificial other than real. So I don't like doing skin smoothing. Instead, normally what I do is I go over here on the brush tool and get rid of marks and blemishes, and the skin comes out fine from there. In a situation like this, I'm going to leave luminance at 0 because I really don't need it. Lens vignette. That's how I pronounce it. Some people pronounce it different. Nobody really knows the correct pronunciation of it. I'll be honest, I don't. You see what it does here. It adds a tint, like a halo around her. And I'm going to bring this down a little bit because I don't want that much darkness around her. But I am going to bump that up all the way. Post-crop vignette is pretty much the same as vignette. It's just a different way of doing it. It's again has more of the shade around the model, but I'm going to put a big feather around it, which is not going to be as detailed, and we're going to control the roundness on this. Midpoint. just like that. All right, shadows. I'm going to play with this and see what I get. Now, move it both ways. I actually like it right here. I like how that comes out. This here, the hue is going to affect the, you're going to notice a change on the skin mostly with this, and you can control the saturation of that effect. And I'm going to leave that at that. Green primary. We're going to lower the saturation of this effect. You know, I don't like it right there. I'm going to change it. Let me see how it looks up here. No, I don't like what it's doing to the skin. I'm going to leave it right here. Blue primary, I normally don't mess with this because I don't like what it does to the image at all. It's going to change it. I never like what blue primary does, but that's just me. All right, so with this image here, so far this is the first process of editing this one. I'm done with Lightroom, so I'm going to go to File, Export to Previous. I'm going to go to Desktop, go to Export, and I'm going to put it in that folder. Okay, so I'm going to let it do its thing. It's going to export this file just like this. But before I get out of this, I'm going to show you before and after of when I started this photo to what you see right now. We're going to do a left out of right comparison. And this is the left, this is before, and this here is after. So this is what Lightroom does to the image. Okay, so with that being said, is it done exporting? We're going to move over to Photoshop and open the image there. Okay, here we are in Photoshop. First thing I want to do in Photoshop is I want to zoom in on where I see blemishes. This is normally the first thing I do. I want to get rid of this. I want to get rid of this. And a couple of spots, but she really has really nice skin. But no matter how good your skin is, every model has to go through this when it comes to you know, photo shoots. Believe it or not, there's not one model that I know of that doesn't have at least one blemish. Okay, so I'm going to get my pen. I have an Intuos tablet. The idea of getting this Intuos tablet was given to me by a fellow photographer I know very well. Cool guy, Super Dad Photography. Shout out to him. Dell, he is a really cool guy. So, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this layer. Okay, I duplicate the layer by pressing Command and J. The reason I duplicate layers is because if I mess up, I want to be able to go back to my original picture and start from there. So every once in a while, once I get so far in the editing process, I almost always duplicate my layers. If I can remember, it's a constant duplication. So from that point, I'm going to go to this healing brush tool. Okay. Now, mind you, the instructions I give you, I'm giving you these instructions based on a Mac and not a PC. So when I tell you to press Command or whatnot, I believe Command, I really don't know what it is for PC. I hadn't messed with PC in a long time, so just bear with me on these instructions. I'm going to go to Option, and on a PC that's going to be Alt. Okay, so you go to the healing brush tool, press Alt and sample a smooth layer of skin, and click. Okay, once that's done, what the brush does is it shows, see that little blotch you see on my cursor? That blotch there is actually a portion of her skin that I selected. And what it's gonna do is gonna merge that skin along with what I'm going over with in the background. It's gonna pretty much create the illusion of her not having that at all. And it's just a matter of painting over it. That's it. Simple as that. I press option again. Normally I sample near the area that I want to correct, and I'm getting rid of other blemishes. I'm going to zoom in on this a little more so you can actually see what I'm doing here. Getting rid of that, get rid of that. Now mind you, she really doesn't need all of this because her skin is fine. I'm just doing this for example purposes. Shout out to Amazon Models Agency for providing me with this lovely young lady to work with. And she was a jewel. She was really cool. Her and her manager, Dia, yeah, that's her name. All right, so another thing I'm gonna go over, the lines on the neck. This happens with almost everyone. I don't like the lines on the neck, so I definitely got to get rid of that. Sample below it, clean up top. And it's looking good. All right, see a spot over here on the cheek I want to get rid of. All right, now at this point, being that all of the blemishes are gone, you gotta ask yourself, does she need skin smoothing at this point? In my opinion, no, she doesn't need it. Nobody does. I've worked with some people with some very horrible skin, and normally this does the trick. Okay, so being that I've done that, let's on to the next step. What I'm gonna do is I want to create more dimension in this picture. So I'm going to start with, definitely have to get rid of this. I'm going to get rid of this by just, as a matter of fact, this is going to cause for me having to duplicate this layer. Just in case I mess up, I want to be able to get back to where I left off. So we're going to start. I want to get rid of this by clicking it and just going select. All right. I haven't quite figured out how I'm going to do this just yet. I just go along with it as I go along. Okay, let's see here. I'm going to try with the stamp tool. Now what the stamp tool does is, unlike the healing brush tool, the stamp tool puts exactly what you see in one area in another area. And I'm going to see how that looks, but I'm going to have to really keep sampling to create the illusion that this all isn't the same area. When I do that, I'll probably use a healing brush tool to throw it off a little bit, but just bear with me while I get rid of this tag. Can't believe she left the tag on. Okay. Now, it looks a little funny here, but once it's zoomed out, it won't look funny at all. Okay, we got that so far. So now I'm going to go with the healing brush tool. I'm going to sample the brighter area, and I'm just going to paint and see what it looks like. I'm going to take this off, just paint around it. Go back a little bit, and hopefully if I zoom out, bam. Now anybody that doesn't know what I did wouldn't even notice what's going on up here, but we've managed to get rid of it. I think we did a pretty good job. So now what I want to do is the same thing with that ring. I want to pull a little gold in there. All right, that works. Zoom out. And the tag's gone. Okay, now we're gonna merge these two. And the reason I'm merging these two is because this is what I want. So I'm not worried about messing up anymore, and I don't want a lot of layers because that's gonna create a lot of confusion. If it's some, you need a lot of layers, but if it's unnecessary to have a lot of layers, it's always a good idea to get rid of them. To me. So what I do is I'm going to hit Command. I believe that's I honestly don't know what button that is on the PC, but on a Mac, it's going to be the Command button and E, and it merges the two together. On a PC, I need to find a PC. It's going to be, let me see, I believe it's going to be Control and E. Let me see, Alt. Anyway, you'll figure it out. It's the button next to the space bar. Okay, so moving on, we're going back to shadow and light, which is going to create depth in this image. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to a dodge burn tool. I'm going to start with burn. Think burn dark. That's all you need to think about. I'm going to increase this to 100. That's when I go in the nostrils. I know it sounds nasty, but yeah. Now I'm going to duplicate this layer again because I'm doing something totally different. Okay, just in case I mess up, I have something to go back to. So with the burn tool, just coloring the burn tool. It's gonna make, if you notice what it does to that nostril, it adds more darkness in the nostril. And I'm gonna turn the layer off and on in a minute. You'll see what effect that does. Around the mouth, keep it opacity at 100, and just draw in there. Let's draw back and forth to make sure I get what I need. All right, so I'm gonna turn this layer off and on, and you see what it does. Let's zoom out and let's do it again. Its layer is on, now it's off. On, now it's off. It creates more dimension in these images. Okay, so with that being said, I like to do that with different areas of the body. And areas like here, it's going to be more shadow. I don't like the opacity too dark. I like to take it down a notch. I'm going to increase the brush size. I'm going to brush that in. I'm going to brush it in here. Anywhere I see shadow, that's where I'm going to use it. Here, shadows under the glasses. I'm going to use it. Shadows under the glasses. I'm going to bring that out more. Sometimes I like to do it in the hair if it's necessary. If they have like a flap in the hair, I like to do it there. Sometimes to give them the illusion that they have strong cheekbones, I like to just create that for them if they don't actually have it. I'm going to zoom out and show you the before and after on that. See, oops. See, it gives the illusion that the cheekbones are stronger and go in, if you can tell. I like how it came out over here, but I do not like how it came out over here. So I'm gonna go Command Z to get rid of that streak, and I'm gonna try that again. I'm gonna try it with a bigger brush size by hitting the right bracket key, and let's draw that again. I don't like that. Let's try it one more time. Smaller brush. Alright, let's see how this comes out. Alright, I like how that came out better. So we'll go with that. I'm going to go with the heel brush tool one more time. I'm going to go back to that. I don't like how the shadow looks. I don't like that strip of shadow. So I'm going to command up here, good portion of her skin, and just draw in there and see what I can do with that. Okay, let's come out of this. Okay, let's see before, after. Okay, I like that much better. All right, I like how it's coming out. Um, Now going from the burn tool, we're gonna go to the dodge tool. I like to have the dodge tool at midtones. I don't like it as high as 73. We're gonna put it down about 50. With this here, we're going to add some more highlights in areas that's already highlit. Give it some more depth. When it comes to the glasses, I like to start off with that. Give the glasses a little bit more shine. You can tell the difference there in the glasses. I'm going to see what it looks like under highlights. Highlights, it normally does a little bit more, but I don't typically use highlights on the skin. The glasses I use them with, but not on the skin. I like what they do with the glasses, and I also like what highlight does with jewelry. But it can't be too strong, because once it's too strong, it really messes it up. So I'm gonna put a little highlight on her jewelry, bring her jewelry out. You see, this is what highlight does to the skin. It's not cute. So it's not good to use the highlight feature with the dodge tool on the skin. When you're on the skin, it's always best to stay with mid-tone. All right, let's do them out. Okay, let's do it before and after. Paying attention to that shadow and highlights. Good deal. Okay, now I'm going to at this point, I'm going to do two more things to this image. I'm going to first focus on this background here. I don't like how this building is back here. It's throwing me off. It's annoying. It has nothing to do with the image. It has nothing to do with what image you're trying to capture here. So what are we going to do? We're going to get rid of it. How are we going to get rid of it? Same thing I told you earlier. The stamp tool. What we're going to do? Any area of the woods that's I'm going to use an area like right here because, I can probably use here. I don't want to use sample that area that's too close to it because the viewer can easily say, oh, wow, this was cloned, this was sampled, and, gig is up. So I like to use different areas, blotch, blotch, another area, blotch, blotch. And I want to get rid of this, whatever the hell this is. I don't know what this is up here. So we're going to heel brush this. And we're going to just get rid of it. Looks like it's some kind of post or something. So we don't want that in the image at all. I think right here we can just really heel brush some stuff here. And yeah, we have what we're looking for. All right, so zoom out. And my blue building is gone. So before, after, before, after. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is I wanna add more detail to her hair. I really like this piece that she's wearing. So we're gonna add more detail to it though. What we're gonna do, we're gonna merge these two together since I'm happy with the final results. And I'm gonna duplicate another layer again. Now what we're going to do with this layer, we're going to add a filter on it. We're going to go to Filter, Other, and High Pass. Now what High Pass does is going to give more detail to the picture. There's so much more you can do with High Pass, but We're just going to cover this area with hot pass, but it's just not for add more detail. There's a lot you can do with the hot pass feature. So I like it at here. I think that's a lot of detail in the hair. And I'm gonna hit OK. Okay. At that point, I'm going to change this layer filter from normal to overlay. Now what you're gonna see here is a highlight image. The whole image it looks like it has a lot of clarity in it, and I don't like it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hit the Option key and click down here at the layer mask tool and click it. At that point, my image is back to where it originally was, and I love it. We're going to make sure this is highlighted over here at this point. This is a layer mask on here. Basically what this is we're going to get the same image, but I'm going to be able to control where I want that image to show over here. Okay. Without this, you would see that hard image as you saw a minute ago. With this, I'm going to be able to put where I want that hard image to go with this brush tool, as long as I'm painting on here. So I'm going to paint white on this black background. So I'm going to go to my brush tool, make sure my brush is white, and I'm going to go to painting. I'm going to lower this brush around up here, and I'm going to zoom in so you can see what I'm doing. Right there. All right. So I'm a painting. Oh, opacity is very small. We're going to put it at 100. All right, now, as I'm painting, you look closer, you can see what I'm doing with her hair. It's a lot more detail in her hair. And the reason I'm at 100 opacity on a brush is because eventually I may bring that opacity back down, but I will be able to bring it down in this layer mask to where I'll be able to control it myself. So, you know, that's why I'm going at 100 as I'm brushing, so I can actually see where I'm brushing and see what I'm doing. Okay, oops, I don't want to do that on the skin, so I'm gonna. All right, so we're done with that. I'm gonna bring this opacity on her hair down. This is all the way down. This is all the way up. All the way is too much for me, so I'm gonna bring it back down a little bit. And I think this is good. I'm going to turn this layer off. Now turn it back on. Turn it off. Turn it back on. I like it. I want to bump it up a tad bit more. Right there. Off, on, perfect for me. Okay, I'm going to leave it at 44. Alright, so since I like this, I'm going to also merge these layers by pressing Command and E. Again, don't know what it is for PC. I'm going to go back to this burn tool, and I'm going to add some more dimension to her clothes where I see the shadow. I'm creating more shadow. Okay, that's at 23. I want to bump that up a little bit more. Okay. And I'll put that up. All right. As you see, it's not a flat image. Last up we're going to do is I'm going to go to Windows and Actions. Oh, well, I already have my Actions window up. Okay, these are a bunch of different presets that I have. Some of them, it creates different effects on the image. But this one here, I'm going to see what green olive looks like. You click it and you click play, and it adds a different effect to the image. I'm going to take the opacity down on this effect a little bit and see the difference. I like what it's doing. We're going to put this aside for right now and see what other options we have. I love cherry tint. I love what that does to images. So let's see what that does. At 30%, let's throw olive green in it and see what we have. This is great. Okay. Let's take olive green down a little bit more. And I want to take cherry down a tad bit more. Okay. Go to my dodge tool. I'm going to leave it at 21. It's fine. Small on that brush where there's light. I draw. Draw light. It's like drawing light on light. You may not see what I'm doing, but you'll see the difference in a minute. Okay. I'm gonna up this a little bit because I'm not even seeing what I'm doing. Shoot. Okay. This is fine.